Hey guys, this is Legio. Welcome back to City Skylines Mahigan, Episode 3, The Harbor. So last episode we built the downtown core, or the financial aspect of the downtown. It's going to be the core of it. I think it turned out pretty well. If you missed that episode, I suggest going back and checking it out. I think it's worth a view. So today we're going to build the harbor, which is going to be right over here, running along what I've dubbed the Marshan River. And to do that, we are going to use this wonderful building here, which is also going to double as our history lesson for the day. So this is the Ferry building, which is located in San Francisco, California. And I'm going to go ahead and put some pictures of it up on your screen right about now. Hope you enjoy those. So the Ferry building was designed by Arthur Page Brown, and it opened back in 1898. It was the second busiest terminal in the entire world, all the way up until the Golden Gate Bridge was built. Again, the American highway system's killing the public transportation in America. Fancy that. The original clock, which you'll see, was completed back in 1898, and it was built by the Boston clockmaker E. Howard. It was the world's largest wind-up clock, but it's now motorized. But the main mechanism is still there and present. The building was originally built out of wood beams and terraces like that, up until they decided that this was so busy they're going to have to build an actual structure, which they did, and what they built was this. I think it's a lovely looking building. The building serviced the San Francisco Bay Area and allowed for an easy transfer from streetcars to ferries and vice versa, which really boosted commerce and everything in the area. And one fun fact about it is it survived both the 1906 and the 1989 earthquakes, which if you're a resident from San Francisco or even YouTube up those earthquakes, you could see they were quite devastating to the region, and it's really a credit to the architect and the team that built this building. And yeah, so it survived. For those of you interested, I will put a link to the asset in the description down below for this. Go ahead and unpause the game so you guys can kind of see the flags literally blow in the wind, which I think is awesome. Those three flags there, I believe that's San Francisco City flag, but I'm not sure. You got the United States of America flag, and you got the state of California flag on there. So really cool. I think it's not staying here, it's gonna be moved, but I think this asset is going to, I think it's gonna fit the theme, and I think it's gonna serve us well. So hope you guys enjoy this episode, and now just kick back, relax, and watch a speed build and listen to some music. I'm back. Hopefully you're enjoying the episode, because I know I actually enjoyed doing this episode. So if you do enjoy the episode, please like and or subscribe, or at least tell your friends, send a link out, do whatever it is you want to do. So let's talk about the episode a little bit. We got the ferry harbor built, and what I basically did is I took our History Day asset, the ferry building, and I combined it with two in-game assets that most of you are probably familiar with seeing, and we just kind of made our own little custom ferry port there. And I really like the placement of it because it's right at the mouth of the river, and what I'm going to probably do is further down the river or up the river, whatever way you want to look at it, I'm going to put another little ferry stop and have them kind of use that as a public transport, mostly as a tourist attraction. In America, it would primarily be like a touristy thing. We don't really use a lot of public transportation here, as you can probably tell. During my videos, I kind of harp on the public highways. You'll hear me say it a lot because they kind of killed our public transport here. So, but that's a down the road kind of thing. But anyways, you're also seeing me build a tram depot, and the reason I built the tram depot is a couple of reasons. My thinking is a city this large is going to put a lot of its public transportation into one area. So what the city of Mahigan most likely did, and what they did do, because I did it, was they bought this land out, or took this land and purposed it for these buildings. So they decided they wanted to have a tram network, and they want the ferry and everything. They wanted to work together and feed off of each other. So basically what you do is, if you want to get on the ferry, you can take a tram to the ferry depot, or when you're getting off the ferry, you can jump on a tram and go wherever it is you want in the city. So that was kind of my thinking. I feel like that was semi-realistic. I don't know, let me know in the comments if it is or isn't, if you have those things. I don't have those things in my city. The next thing you're probably saying is, Legio, why in the world would you put a tram network in when you're based in the city off of Chicago and St. Louis? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and there's two reasons. One, both city, first off, it's a video game, and I can kind of do whatever I want. It's a video game, we're having fun with it, right? Second off, both cities actually do have tram networks. They're just not known for it like, say, San Francisco. So I'll start with St. Louis because it's where I currently reside. St. Louis does have a small tram network. It's on Del Mar Loop. If you aren't familiar with that, just Google it up. It's a pretty cool place. They have a trolley that, when it works, it breaks a lot. It services the area of Del Mar, which is it's a very cultural area. It's right by Washington University and Forest Park, and it's in a very affluent area. There's a lot of cool shops and stuff to see and do there. So they built that, and so it's a small tram network, but St. Louis has it. And a lot of you are probably asking yourself, well, what about Chicago? I don't know if Chicago has trams. And you're right, modern day Chicago doesn't really have trams, but something I found during some history research I did a while back is Chicago actually used to have a lot of what they called streetcars, but they're basically trams and trolleys. They had almost over 500 miles of tram track laid down. By the way, you can Google all of this. It's on Wikipedia and everything. I'm not just pulling it from nowhere. By the way, anyone who hates on Wikipedia needs to get out of my face. Wikipedia is an amazing reference tool. I love Wikipedia. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. Back in the 1930s, the electric streetcar kind of, dominated Chicago. It was the primary public transportation. It's what the Metrolink is now. So it was a very big deal. It went everywhere in the city, basically. There's a ton of pictures of it. And they kind of dismantled it when the Metro came in. They kept bits and pieces of it, and I'm not an expert on, Chicago transportation history, but I do know that it was a bunch of private companies, and I think there was about 20 companies invested into this transportation system trying to make money off of it. But when the Metro came in, it just wasn't feasible to use them anymore, and the Metro was so much more cost efficient, and people preferred it because, if you've ever been to Chicago, the Metro actually will get you basically wherever you need to go, or at least really close. So you didn't really need the tram networks anymore. They lost a lot of passengers. And so, it went out that way. So there's a little bonus history for you that I thought you guys would find interesting, and go ahead and look it up. There's a lot more information than that I'm not going to get into, because again, it's a City Skylines video, and we could sit here and talk history all day. So, but another thing I'm going to put out is this will be the last episode for a little bit, because I go on vacation next week, and I'm really looking forward to that vacation. So please, if you're hoping for an episode, the few of you who do watch this, please be patient. When I get back, I'll try to get an episode up as best I can. So just wanted to get that out there. So a little bit more about what's going on the screen. My plan was to keep this water line that you're seeing there, or the riverside, fairly open. That way a lot of people had views of the river and across the river. The only tall building I put was that hotel, and I really like that model, especially as a hotel, because the top of it has that little dome, which in my mind has like a restaurant or something in it. So that's about the only tall building I put there, and that's mostly for people coming in to town, hopping on that just got off the ferry, going there, and that's where they stay. It's kind of a tourist hotel kind of thing. So that's that. I used the cobblestone pathway with trees there, and my thinking was they built this ferry back in probably the early 1900s. You can kind of see the ferry a little bit better there. And the roads back then were probably cobblestone, so when they were updating the roads and everything, they left that road alone. So if you're kind of interested in how I did that, I'm going to show you in the end game footage. I kind of think the way I combined those buildings was fairly clever. So I'm a little proud of how I combined those buildings. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and put some music back on. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the video, and have fun with it, I guess. Hey guys, I'm back. Hopefully you enjoyed that speed play in the music, because I actually enjoyed putting it all together. So let's talk about what we did. We built a tram depot down there at the end, as you can see on your screen. We talked about that at length, so I'm not going to cover that too much. We also built this ferry depot, which was the whole point of the episode, and I kind of got carried away. It was a real simple build. All I did is I took these two assets, used touch this to remove the roads that are connected to them, because as you know, there'll be default roads connected to the asset, and the touch this mod disconnects it from it, so you can bulldoze it or do whatever you need to do. Really helpful. And we built our ferry. We also built the parking lot and everything over there, which you guys saw at length. Nothing special, but I think it looks nice. We also built the Peabody Hotel, or placed it down. A really nice, expensive hotel for guests to stay in if they don't want to stay in the more modern hotel. We'll say this is an old hotel that's been there since this was built. I think the themes match. So between the beginning and the end of the episode, I did some research. This is, in fact, the city of San Francisco flag, which I'll put up on your screen now. That is a white background with a gold trim border and a phoenix rising out of the flames. So that is a city of San Francisco flag, if you couldn't tell with the word San Francisco written on it. I believe the phoenix rising out of the flames symbolizes a great catastrophe San Francisco suffered. It was either a fire or an earthquake. Either are plausible, I imagine. I think fire, though. But moving on, you'll see random buildings that weren't there before. Don't pay any attention to those. That's me kind of pre-game planning for what I want to do next. So those don't matter right now. They'll probably get moved and changed. Next episode, we will probably work on the waterfront or this area right here. So yeah, the last thing I'll say is I'll go ahead and show you. Go out of this. We named this whole area down here, this district, Brown Landing, and Brown Landing comes from the architect who built the ferry building. So named it after him. I think he deserved credit for such a wonderful asset, and Brown Landing sounds like a realistic place. So with all that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed the episode, because I did enjoy putting this one together. I hope you have a nice day. I hope everyone's staying safe. With all that said, the last thing I'll say is like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. Tell your friends, and now enjoy some cinematics. Have a nice day.